what do you enjoy most about your gift and what it has brought into your life?
Well, remember that I'm 50 and I have been aware of my gifts since I'm 5. So when we're talking about my gift, are you talking about the fulfillment of my gifts or my journey as a soul alchemist?
Well, you can talk about all your gifts because I believe that all of your gifts have brought you to the point now where you're officially a soul alchemist. So you can explain to everybody who you are and what that entails and how your journey has brought you to this point.
Okay, that's quite fun. Well, the first thing that I noted when I was very young at 5 is I had this immense capacity to speak truth. And one of my earliest memories is speaking to my neighbor, my parents' neighbor rather, seeing as I was 5 and I couldn't live on my own. So it was rather my parents' neighbor, who was 40, and giving her advice on her marriage and how to build a better relationship with her husband. Now, any normal 5-year-old would be
playing with toys and
or would be called precocious for even endeavoring to do that. But I remember this woman so clearly, and I didn't call her by her first name. She was Mrs. So-and-so, and I spoke to her so succinctly, and she took the advice and came back to me 2 to 3 days later to tell me how it had positively impacted her life.
Wow.
So that's when it started. And you know, Michelle, the interesting thing for me was that that was not the only occurrence. That was just natural. It kept happening. I spoke into my family's life, and at times my mom really struggled with that because, you know, it was hard for her to see her daughter speaking to her with this intense wisdom, so to speak.
Yeah.
And then with my intuition, it has grown when I allowed my intuition to come out, because intuition is there for everyone, but we fear it so much. We fear what the world will think of us if we become labeled a psychic or a medium or an intuitive or all of these things, where everybody accepts they have a sixth sense. And some people go, you know, I've got that gut feel. It's the same thing. All that I've done is exercise my intuition. So for me, my intuition has really grown, and to the point now where I will just hear something and no one has said it, and I'll open my mouth and say something, and someone in the room or someone close to me has just thought that thought, and I've just answered it without even hearing the words with my physical ears.
It's a real psychic connection.
It can be spooky, hey? Because for a lot of people, it's shocking, because how did I know that? A lot of the time I'm asked this question, how did you know, and where did that come from, and I hadn't even thought that. And then I also hear this one a lot, you know, like, you know, I'm not going to tell you because you know already. And
I expect you to already be reading their minds.
I'm not listening to you all the time. And, you know, sometimes it's just nice to be told what you're thinking, so I don't have to ask higher beings. So again, obviously the healing gift is a very powerful gift, because you know, and in this family there is no space for disease, because I don't understand why one needs to have it. It's not written into your spiritual contract. Nowhere can I find that it says, and thou shalt be sick for the rest of thy days.
No.
Or suffer the pangs of dis-ease. In actual fact, everything that I've read and studied stipulates one thing, that your thoughts create your reality. And everything in your life can it be attributed to an emotional trauma or thought pattern that you've adopted repeatedly.
Yes.
And the more you invest in that thought process, the stronger it becomes until it is now a reality. So my healing gift has grown to the point where I can remember when my husband was alive that we rode over the one dog.
Oh,
yeah, and I was adamant my dog was going to be healed, and I knelt next to the dog and worked on the dog, and the dog was healed, got up and ran after being ridden over with like what we would call a combi. It's
a big car.
It's a big car. It's a, what do you call them, as wagons? Yeah,
station wagons.
It's more than a station wagon. It's those camper van kind of things. That's what some people would call them. So, you know, if you ride right over the dog, a poodle, normally flat, and the dog was healed and running around within an hour.
That's really powerful.
And now it's to the point where I obviously healed my own body to come back from the coma, got rid of a back problem, and you know, everywhere I go, I use my hands for healing. So my gift of teaching, I can remember being in school and teaching my fellow students because it was just natural. I would understand the semantics, I can pick up a book, I can read it, and then I can deliver the message from the book succinctly and in a preceed form. So I can take out all the essence and I can deliver it and give you the message. So that's it. As a healer, very, very strong. As a teacher, phenomenal. And intuitive, it has grown beyond comparison. And then as a being with, I think for me the greater thing is this absolute desire and love to see people find their truth, their fulfillment. That's the gift I relish the most, because in my encounters in this world, I've realized that a true loving heart is not that common.
Yeah, no, not completely pure with everybody else's intentions at heart. You know, their best.
I really, really, really desire for people to find that life is a gift and it's a joyous journey, and that is why I'm on this earth. I want to enable people to live more, be happier, more fulfilled.
Well, that is an amazing gift, and I'm very grateful that you are on this planet to provide that, so thank you.
It's a pleasure.